So it's 2024, and one thing I have to admit is one topic of conversation centered around Lumix cameras has to be their kind of release of 6K open gate when it comes to their Lumix S5iix model cameras. Now currently I am shooting with the Lumix S5iix. I have had it in my possession now. Man, we're almost coming up on a year, and I've been absolutely blown away with its performance, whether it be autofocus, whether it be IBIS, and today's point of conversation, 6K open gate. Now I have to be honest, I really love the flexibility in this particular codec and this format, specifically because I knew that the final results of this project would be your traditional format, but also square and vertical. So really it was one of those things where, because I knew that was the hand that was being dealt, it only made sense to shoot the 6K open gate because it just gave me some flexibility in regards to post. Now, the second you throw it in your traditional 4K timeline, you are gonna have to scale it up to 120% just to fit the full frame. You're gonna have a little bit of area to work with, but overall, that's going to be your workflow for the traditional format. And then, basically within my editor, I just tell it to go ahead and transform that project into square and vertical, and then I have to go do a little bit of reformatting, but overall, it gives me so much more flexibility. Now, if you're wondering what kind of styles we're shooting at and things of that nature, I shot this thing entirely in log footage at either ISO 640 or ISO 4000, mainly because I just wanted to stick to those native ISOs so that I'd get less grain and have more flexibility in regards to being able to manipulate the colors and exposures in post-production. I popped in a 256 gig card for that entire shoot and never ran out of space. And you gotta be figuring I was filming at night and I was filming during the day, and it probably elapsed to roughly about 12 to 14 hours of actually filming. Now, of course, I wasn't rolling every second of that shoot, but you kind of get the vibes here. So, open gate 6K at 30 frames or 24 frames per second. Would I actually shoot all my projects like this? I would say this is one of those where I love the flexibility, but depending on the final results of the project and what they need, might make me kind of go one way or the other. If I'm just shooting a podcast, I'm not really gonna shoot 6K open gate, mainly because I don't have that option in my S5 and I don't have it in my GH5 or my GH4. So sometimes that can get a little tricky. But if I'm shooting a project where I'm really just gonna be rolling with one or maybe two cameras, it's totally worth the ability to have in post-production in regards to scaling in and scaling out on both square and vertical. And so the conclusion today with the open gate 6K on the Lumix S5iix is, I'll definitely be using it more and more. And especially, as mentioned, when projects are gonna be more catered towards a social media style campaign, it only makes sense to shoot 6K open gate. 100mm macro, this turned out pretty dope, especially when on the gimbal. Nice, easy setup, also super lightweight, and you're gonna get some nice depth of field with the f2.8. Old Faithful 20 to 60 was specializing in our wide shots, also a couple of just simple, easy gimbal shots where I'm kind of pacing around the venue. And then for a lot of our tight shots, I honed in on the 28 to 200 f4 to f7. Now, some of you might be scared away with that f7, but when you've got a concert that's lit properly, you've got tons of lights going on, you would be surprised that even at f7 at ISO 640, occasionally you're gonna get some overexposed shots. So I don't get really scared away from that higher aperture. If anything, what lures me in with that type of lens is the versatility in regards to the 28 to 200. I can slap that on and get an array of shots with that one particular lens, because I did find that I was popping these lenses on and off quite a bit, mainly because I was just trying to get a diverse portfolio of shots for what you guys saw in that edit. And shout out to Lumix, man. I mean, this is the first time in a while that I have an assortment of native glass, whether it be the 100mm, the Old Faithful, the 28 to 200, It's just nice having the IBIS capabilities, the autofocus. I mean, don't get me wrong, on my Canon glass, it still performs incredibly, but when you get the added bonus of these guys and a gimbal, the footage looks incredible, the footage is stable, and overall, it just puts a smile on my face, and I was super pumped to do that project. Quick, easy, 2-day shoot, quick edit, in and out, cool footage, great portfolio builder. All right, so at this point, we have discussed 6K OpenGate to its fullest extent in regards to how it can help your video production. And in the meantime, we also showed a little bit of footage, the pre-party of Honey Island. And that was more DJ oriented, as you guys saw. Of course, we also showed a couple of footage or pieces of footage of the actual event itself, but the recap, that's what we were hired for. That's why we shot 6K. And here's your opportunity to see it, and shout out to any of you guys that are still here with me to the end. Here's that Honey Island 2024 recap. Everybody needs someone to love.